and welcome to another Make a Monday activity. Today we are going to create a piece of pop art. Now, pop art is something that I've been reading about in some of our fantastic resources available here at your library. And we can learn a little bit about what pop art is. So this book tells me that pop art is the name given to art focusing on popular culture, which was created from the middle of the 1950s until the end of the 1960s in the United States and Britain. Pop artists generally chose subjects for their work that would be familiar to everyone, and they made pictures of certain types of things that people might see every day in the world around them, such as household products, soup tins, popcorn, banknotes, and road signs. Now, one of the most famous pop artists was Andy Warhol, and one of his most famous pieces uses soup cans. And you can see in the picture he's got lots of different tins of soup lined up in a row and has collaged or placed them all together to create one picture. So today for my pop art, the image that I'm going to use that should be familiar to everyone or most people is some flowers. So have a think about what image you would like to use as we take a look at what you'll need for today's activity. To make your pop art, you will need some paper. I'm using white paper for the base of my picture and some beautiful bright primary colours that are going to make up the flowers. You will also need a ruler, a pencil, a pair of scissors and a glue stick. Now, since we're using Andy Warhol's Campbell's soup picture as inspiration, what we're going to do for our pop art is have some squares, and we'll have the same image in each of those squares. So for my example here, I have 9 different squares, each with the same flower. So the first thing that you need to do is decide how many squares you would like to do. Now, Andy did 32 in his Campbell's soup picture, but I'm not going to do just as many as that. You might choose to have 32 like Andy, but you don't have to have that many. You probably just need at least 4. So because I'm doing 9, I've got 3 rows across and 3 rows going up and down. So I'm taking my pencil and my ruler and just marking this piece of paper out into thirds. Now this is an A4 piece of paper, which measures almost 30 centimeters across. So let's make a mark at 10 centimeters and 20 centimeters. Turn it around the other way and we'll do the same. So we've got 21 centimeters here. So I'm going to mark it out at 7 and 14. Now, depending on the size of your piece of paper and how many squares you would like to do, this measurement might vary. So once you've measured it out and determined how many squares or rectangles you'd like on your page, we're going to draw these lines with our pencil. Okay, so here's the base of my picture with the 9 rectangles clearly marked out. So what I want to do now is take my colored paper and I'm going to cut some colored rectangles so that they fit perfectly into these slots. So just to remind myself, each rectangle measures 10 centimeters by 7 centimeters. So I'll take my ruler and pencil and start marking that out on my colored pieces of paper, and then I'm going to cut them out. So I have my 9 rectangles cut out now. So what I'll do now is just start placing them on to my base of my picture. So you can work out what works best for you in your picture. You might choose to have the colors alternating, or you might like to group similar colors together. So place them on, and once you're happy with your design, we'll take our glue stick and begin to glue the colored rectangles onto our base. Okay, so next it's time to draw the picture that you're going to put in each of those squares. Now, if you're not confident with drawing, you can trace something, or you could copy something out of a magazine, cut something out of the newspaper and make copies, whatever works for you. What I've done is I've just got a white rectangle that's the same size as these colored ones, and I've drawn my flower onto this first so that I know the flower will be the right size to fit inside each of these frames. So what I will do now is take my scissors and just cut around the outline of the shape, and then I'll use this as a template to trace onto the colored pieces of paper so that all of my flowers are exactly the same size and shape. And you don't have to draw a perfectly proportioned picture or shape, because this artwork is unique to you. What I'm really just wanting is that each of these flowers looks the same. So I'm going to take this template, trace it onto my coloured pages and cut it out. Once you have your shapes cut out, all you need to do is place them on your picture where you would like them, pop some glue on the back and stick them down onto your picture. And we are done. Here is our beautiful pop art picture inspired by Andy Warhol. Thanks for joining me for today's activity. If you'd like to learn more about Andy Warhol or some other really interesting people who did some important things, check out the Little People Big Dreams series, written by Maria Isabel Sanchez Vergara, which is available now at your library. And we'll see you back here next week for another fun Make a Monday activity. See you then.